Good morning and welcome to the news. We come to you live from here. Also coming up, a grieved customer defunct Gold Coast Fund Management Company dissatisfied with Finance Minister's failure to address their concerns during their picketing at the ministry. And on the international front, we bring you details of diplomatic efforts to free more than 100 hostages reportedly being held by Hamas intensify. Well, in our first story, the latest twist in the legal battle between the Office of the Special Prosecutor and former Sanitation Minister Cecilia Dapaah is that a fresh suit has been filed by Madame Dapaah, praying the court to stop the OSP from investigating her. Now, she is also asking for an order against the OSP to unfreeze her assets and bank accounts. Joseph Akable of our legal desk has the details.
So the latest is that Madame Dapaah has, through her lawyers, filed some processes at the High Court challenging the conduct of the Office of Special Prosecutor in relation to her. And so she makes the point, first and foremost, that as far as she's concerned, she believes that the OSP's decision to re-seize her money and also proceed to freeze her account once again were unlawful. And the context to this, like you recall, some weeks back, the High Court did give an order for the Office of Special Prosecutor to release $590,000 as well as 2.8 million cedis that they had seized during a search of her residence. Now, you recall that when she went over to the Office of Special Prosecutor, the money was given to her. When she got to the car park, she was asked to come back to the office, at which point the money was seized again. And the interesting thing is that we know that the case is coming up in court tomorrow. This is a fresh action entirely, in which she's saying that that conduct of the OSP is arbitrary, is unlawful, and is contrary to the power that is granted the Office of Special Prosecutor. So as a result of that, she's asking the court to order the Office of Special Prosecutor to release the money that was seized and also to unfreeze her bank account. She's also interestingly asking for an order prohibiting the Special Prosecutor from continuing the investigations of herself. And so she doesn't want to be investigated by Special Prosecutor anymore, and asking for any other order that the court may deem fit. And the interesting thing about all of this is it's coming at a time when the OSP, just what the news we gave our viewers already, is the fact that he has decided to file charges against her in relation to a failure to complete an income declaration form.
Now, bring you a bit of background to the issue, and the Office of the Special Prosecutor has charged former Sanitation Minister Cecilia Dapaah with the offence of failing to comply with a lawful demand. Now, documents filed in the court alleges that Cecilia Dapaah failed to fill and submit an income declaration form handed her by investigators. Now, the OSP has, in the last 2 months, been investigating the former minister for possible ownership of tainted property, which investigators say cannot be attributed to her known income. Now, $590,000 and 2.8 million cedis found in her residence have since been seized. Let's look at the details of the latest action by the OSP. We'll bring you more details on that particular story later in our subsequent bulletins. But moving on, the Attorney General says former Environment Minister Professor Kwabena Frimpong failed to cooperate with investigators who attempted to probe his controversial report. Godfrey Dame therefore concludes there's no evidence to form the basis for the prosecution of any of the named government officials and other persons for stifling the fight against corruption.
The prevailing situation now, it tells you that we still have a lot of work to do. The forest degradation is going on, the rivers are not clean and so on. We have so many rivers in Ghana, but apart from maybe the Volta and Afram, all the others have been impacted.
Professor Boateng had in his report to the Chief of Staff named a number of high-ranking officials whom he claimed had interfered with the work of the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining. He painted a disturbing picture of illegal mining in the country when he alleged even the president's backyard had been affected. The police service indicated it was investigating the matter. The Attorney General has since rendered an opinion on a docket as presented by investigators. Godfrey Dame says several attempts by police to obtain further information from Professor Frimpong Boateng to substantiate the allegations in the report and to assist them conduct investigations proved futile. The AG adds that investigations by the police have not revealed any evidence in support of the allegations. He therefore concludes that his office is unable to recommend the prosecution of any of the persons cited in the report. The Attorney General's office is, however, awaiting the outcome of investigations conducted in the case involving Seth Mante, John Oforiata, and Eko Ewusi, who are alleged to be involved in the sale of excavators.
Meanwhile, some anti-corruption campaigners and civil society bodies say the Attorney General did not do due diligence to further investigate the claims captured in the report by Professor Frimpong Boateng. A private legal practitioner, Martin Pebu, for instance, says the AG's advice is a complete whitewash.
The rest of the report represents a whitewashing of such blatant and flagrant destruction of our forests. The AG's opinion is whitewashing the situation. It's very nauseating. I mean, come on, I can't believe it that the AG would issue such an opinion. It's not good. Look, we have to get up and make all the noise we can to indicate to the Attorney General that this kind of legal opinion is not on, not in Ghana. No. We can't allow that to stand. Look, Martin, let's go straight for the jugular. I didn't see any part of the report actually, or the AG's opinion, showing that proper investigations were conducted. What do I mean by that? Who went to the forest to ascertain the destruction that Professor Frimpong Boateng talked about? None is shown in the opinion. 2, what inquiries were made from the Minerals Commission that based on the pictures of the destruction that Frimpong Boateng showed, that was there any basis for the destruction? That is to say, was C&J Alaska authorized to mine? As far as we are aware, I'm going with Professor Frimpong Boateng, they were not authorized to mine.
Now on to some more stories now. And aggrieved customers of the defunct Gold Coast Fund Management Company are dissatisfied with the Finance Minister's failure to address them during their picketing at the ministry. The group is requesting the disbursement of approximately 5.5 billion cedis owed them following approval from Parliament. We're also told that this group slept at the Finance Ministry all night yesterday.
It's been about 3 hours since aggrieved investors of the Gold Coast Fund Management Company began picketing here at the Ministry of Finance. Their demands to push the Finance Ministry to authorize the release of some 8.6 billion cedis bailout package approved by Parliament. The Gold Coast Coast Fund Management Company in November 2019 had its license revoked by the Security and Exchange Commission, and this affected persons who had already made huge investments in the company. As a result, an amount of 8.6 billion cedis was approved by Parliament to settle these aggrieved investors. A partial amount of 3.1 billion cedis was paid by November 2020, but the remaining 5.5 billion cedis has still not been received 4 years on.
The remaining 5.5 billion was approved in 2021 main budget. When that approval was done, there has not been disbursement, but all documents available from the Finance Ministry and the government in the Parliament House and the public domain indicates that the government has spent 26 billion in paying out customers who fell victims to the financial cleanup. And when you try to digest the component of these 26 billion that the government claims it has spent, our approved 8.6 billion that's supposed to pay fund management customers in full has been calculated as part of the 26 billion that has been spent. Meanwhile, this money did not reach us. That is why we are here today.
The ministry during picketing called for a meeting with the leaders of the group, but that ended in disappointment.
They had wanted to engage us and we refused to engage. That's why we made ourselves available. They have just seated us in just a reception and no one has attended to us for the past 40 minutes. And this is a disrespect, a gross disrespect.
Many of the investors, some pensioners, have been bearing the brunt for the past 4 years.
In fact, I have been made immobile. I'm not able to move anywhere. How I take care of myself, only God knows.
Like by this time I die. Like I know be my kiddies and my brothers and my sisters. Like by this time I die. Up to now, yesterday I want to buy my BP medicine. I buy the 50, I think 56. Now it be 138. Ghana City. How?
It's not easy at all. If I tell you it's easy, because nobody having such an amount, I would not like to be a burden on someone.
They want their monies here and now.
Yeah, bro.
The group intends to picket for the next 48 hours. Judith Brown, TV3 News, Finance Ministry, Accra.
Let's now turn our attention to the bipartisan parliamentary probe on the leaked audio tape. The Inspector General of Police's legal team expressed concerns about the conduct of Chairman Samuel Atachia, accusing him of being biased and directing the committee into areas beyond its scope. Duke Menso-Poku reports.
The committee held its hearings entirely in camera. The Inspector General of Police attended, but
of a problem with this whole thing. If you have to bring a head of internal security here to come and listen to his subordinates as to whether they have some evidence concerning his work.
Concerns about the chairman.
About them also. The room. Indeed, it is our argument that POMAP should have remained in the room, and even if the IGP had to leave, he could have left certain members of POMAP there to answer certain questions. But when we went in, the chairman said, well, it is supposed to be in camera, and therefore not everybody ought to be there. Again, out of abundance of respect for the Speaker of Parliament, for Parliament, and the committee and the chairman, POMAP members agreed and excused themselves, leaving the IGP and his lawyers. It is my view that it was a compromise.
Denied allegations of bias against him.
It is very disappointing whenever say I'm biased. I just believe that here they have to do well. If anybody is having cheaters, I'm going to sort of manufacture evidence against the IGP. It has not come with common sense, because what we are doing here, with the greatest of respect, is being recorded. So Atachia, with whatever dexterity, will not be able to improve upon the evidence. We have finding committee, and it is being recorded and transcribed verbatim. So how am I being biased?
Amidst allegations of bias, the committee, especially its chairman, is swimming through the murky water.
hoping to conclude its work soon and present its report to the plenary. TV3 News, Parliament House, Accra.
Now, the Majority Leader in Parliament, Osechi Mensah-Bonsu, wants the new Patriotic Party to continue engaging Alanche Manting, citing his strong loyalty to the party's ideology as a potential return to the party. The Swami Member of Parliament tells TV3 he was surprised when Alanche Manting pulled out of the MPP flag-bearer race and subsequently resigned from the party.
Alanche Manting withdrew from the new Patriotic Party flag-bearer race on September 5 and quit the party on September 25.
I'm honorably resigning with immediate effect to contest for the high office of the President of the Republic of Ghana in the 2024 general elections as an independent presidential candidate. It is abundantly clear to me that my services and contributions to the party are not appreciated.
The resignation of the leading member since the party's inception shocked many. The Majority Leader in Parliament, Osechi Mensah-Bonsu, says he was surprised and wants the party to continue to engage Alan for a possible comeback.
My Bible teaches me, Christ Jesus it was, who said to us that if you have sheep numbering 100 and one goes missing or goes astray, you leave the 99 to fetch the one that has gone astray. So I think that every effort still must be made if there is a 1% possibility. Let's see what will come out of it.
He says he is aware the concerns raised by Alan were being addressed by a committee that was set up by the party. I asked if Alan's independent candidature in the 2024 elections would affect the MPP's chances, particularly in the Ashanti region.
These are early days, and you are talking about a now situation when we are saying that let's still engage to see if he will come back. So for now, to go into specifics will be a bit of a difficulty. It may hamper the reconciliation that I'm suggesting is still possible to bring him back. But the final decision rests with him. And I'm hoping that what we've started would yield positive dividends so that we're able to stand together.
But the Majority Leader was quick to add that historically, independent candidates had not performed well in the country's general elections. It is only time that will tell if the NPP should try to convince Alan and if he will agree and make another comeback to the party. Evelyn Tinkma, TV3 News.
Now, victims of KGTR Market fire have expressed concerns over being neglected after the incident. The affected part of the market remains cordoned off as almost 7 months after the fire, despite assurances to reconstruct it within the shortest possible time. Ibrahim Abubakar has come through with the following report.
During his visit to the KGTR Market fire victims, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Baumia assured them of government support.
Assurance is that the affected victims will be supported.
Other officials made several promises to reconstruct the affected area to ensure traders return to business. The burnt area was cordoned off for reconstruction, but nearly 7 months later, work has not yet begun.
We, as victims, are going through a lot now. With respect to whatsoever pledges or promises that the government made, nothing has been done at all. The place has still been locked up, and then there is no sign of working, or there is no sign that they will be coming there soon. We ask management is not giving us any assurance. All that management is saying that they are also looking up onto government. So we urge that government will come to our aid, because life has been very tough.
Akosia Owusua couldn't retrieve any items from her shop during the fire on March 15 and has been forced to trade with her colleagues on a tabletop near one of the market stairs. I just have to manage on this table. since I have no place to trade after our shops got burnt. The promise to reconstruct the affected part is yet to be fulfilled. Most of my colleagues are at home because of unavailability of space to operate. Sometimes I have to even run away from my debtors. Things are really tough now because I don't earn much to cater for my family. Government should intervene. Some traders are requesting from government when the burnt area will be reconstructed.
Has the government ever bothered to know how the victims are surviving till date? When will the traders be restored back to the trading again?
The facilities management says it is working to secure funds and reconstruct the damaged area, but has not disclosed the start date for the reconstruction process, leaving affected traders to await the rebuilding of their shop. These victims want authorities to, as a matter of urgency, reconstruct the market for them to bounce back to business. Ibrahim Abubakar, TV3 News, Kumasi.
Now, away from that, the University of Ghana says it will sack all level 200 and 300 students with less than 1.00 CGPA in the new stringent modifications to its regulations governing the progression and withdrawal processes for undergraduate students. Now, according to the university, the changes, while aimed at upholding academic standards, will come with a potential student status loss. Now, per the release, should students' CGPAs fall short of the mandated threshold, they will be met with official withdrawal letters delivered to their official UG email addresses. There are, however, concerns as to what happens to students who have already made payments for tuition for the academic year when they come into effect of this new regulation. And that's all for the 6 a.m. news here on TV3. My name is Judith Brown. We'll take a short break, and when we're back, New Day continues.
In a world where every moment counts, one team stands ready to deliver the news that shapes our lives. A team driven by truth, integrity,